I'm really curious, as actors who have worked across different genres and on film and television, what would be a project that you would love to see come to life if money and time were no objects? Gina, I'll start with you.
I mean, I have
Good
like
question.
72 projects. Are you going to fund them? Because I would love to bring them all to you.
I
Like
mean,
immediately.
I would, if I had the money, I would fund them all, you know?
You know what? In all honesty, if money and time, like lots of, as a producer, as somebody who is trying to get projects out there from, communities that aren't as heavily represented on screen, if money and time were no object, then I would be able to support all the new and up and coming artists that I have, that I believe are so extremely talented that just need the chance. They just need someone to take the chance on them. And I have like 72. No, I'm kidding. But I have a bunch that I really, for me, it's all about like finding the people that have not had the opportunity to do the thing that I know they're capable of doing.
I mean, just to touch on what Gina said, I started thinking of like, I would really just love a good, whether it be TV or film, limited series, a good Filipino story, something that represents my
Yes.
culture.
Yeah.
Um, I was gonna say to not meaning that I want to be selfish, but it isn't selfish. It's I want to I want to share that. I'd love to share something like that with the world and show that aspect to, yeah, to different cultures and communities. Yeah, so something that revolved a good Filipino story would be amazing. Yeah.
I
I
want to
would
hear
love
that.
that as well.
Yeah, I would love that as well. So it's not selfish. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this movie is all about relationships and how chaotic they are, and also, how educational they can be sometimes. I'm curious, what is the greatest advice you've ever gotten about a relationship that's helped you grow as a person? And Manny, this time I'll start with you.
Um, I will say I'm learning a lot about myself right now through these questions and through these interviews. I the first thing that pops into my head, I don't know if it's, I mean, it's advice that I'm taking literally right now, but it's to really work, and something that I have believed in is to work on yourself. At first, I think to be able to spend some time alone, go through some growth by yourself first, and to love yourself first, and then maybe after that you can somebody else can come in and love you just as much. Uh, I think along those lines is a good piece of advice.
And Gina?
Best piece of advice is tell the truth from the beginning, who you are and how that might change and how that might shift, and just to always be expressing communicatively your truth. And I think that was pretty good advice because I did that with this last one, and it's lasted. It's
Yeah.
lasted. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Okay. And Manny, I'm a huge fan of your fiance Diane's
Oh,
work,
nice.
especially on Warrior. I spoke with her
Yes.
last season. I love her. We love it. I love that it's coming back for another season. I'm
Yes.
curious, if you would you be interested in guest starring or being some part of that show? I mean, I'm just saying, I think you would be amazing in it.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Therese. Yeah, I mean, we talk about it all. I'm always like, hey, Diane, is there room for a guy who's around 5'11", athletic build, has really wants a job right now. No, it's yeah, no. I'd love to be able to work on such a, and I don't say this just because she's my partner. It's such a great TV show, and I hope the world will see it. But we're not promoting that show right now. We're promoting this. But yes, I would love to be a part of that world. It'd be incredible. Yeah.
I had to ask. I had to ask. One
Yeah.
of my
No,
favorites.
thank you for asking.
And Gina, so obviously you have played Jane as Jane the Virgin for quite a long time, and I love that show. I'm very curious when it comes to Anna, your character, or Anne, your character, if this movie was a telenovela, who would she end up with ultimately in the grand scheme of things?
Scott Eastwood's character.
Absolutely.
Right? She'd end up with the guy she doesn't even know, and how did she end up meeting him, and how did it get that far? Yeah, she'd end up with Jenny Slate's character.
Oh, okay. I like that.
I was writing that.
I like that a lot.
That's who she'd end up with. Yeah.
So I'm curious, when it comes to a movie like this, and you guys have such good chemistry on set, and it feels like you guys are just bouncing off of each other all the time. What was it like cultivating that chemistry and cultivating the bonds that you guys formed?
It was easy.
Yeah.
It really felt seamless. Yeah, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was purposeful or if it was just coincidental, but we all just had respect for one another. And we all just had fun with one another and felt open to play with one another. It was, yeah, right? It
Yeah.
just,
Yeah, it
it
was
felt
easy.
easy.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even think that there was much like cultivating that was done. There was like this organic desire and like love. Like I think we all kind of loved it. I mean, I loved all of them before I met them, and like had already, like had my own like imaginary relationship with them before I met them. And played out several conversations I would have with them.
Yes.
You guys don't do that. And, and the conversation went really well in my head, and then it went really well in real life. And no, I feel like me and Manny went on a hike in the way beginning, and I was like, oh, this is my brother. This is my brother for life. Like I also
Mhm.
I'm in love with his wife and Warrior, and yes, agreed. And I'm so happy.
I am very curious. So your characters obviously interact with the other characters as well. Is there a scene? Is there a character that particularly maybe you didn't get to spend enough time with that you wish that maybe you got some scenes with or some dialogue with that I'd be interested in hearing about that.
Yeah, I didn't get to spend that much time with Charlie. It was mainly Gina and Jenny and myself, um,
Hmm.
uh, and which was amazing. But also, I would hear stories of Charlie through Gina and Jenny, and just being like, man, I wish I could play with him. I wish I could, be in more scenes with him. So yeah, I think Charlie was definitely a dude that I would love to have had more scenes with, for sure.
What about
Yeah.
you?
We didn't get to play with like the other relationships. So like Scott and Clark, we didn't get to play with. And I really fell in
Hmm.
love with both of them so much. And I would have, I mean, it's inherent in the script, so you're not going to. But when we used to all hang out on set, I'd be like, oh, it'd be so much fun to be like in more scenes. I think we have like one scene with them, at the Savannah on the, on the boat.
Yeah.
That time while we were shooting on the boat, I was like, oh, it would have been so dope to be like on set with them more.
Hmm.
Because the ones that I got to be with on set were awesome. So it's like you definitely just, you can't. I feel like I can't be greedy. I definitely had a great time, with Manny, Jenny, and Charlie. Yeah, I can't be greedy. I really loved it.
I loved it too. I mean, some of those scenes were genuinely hilarious. I was like dying laughing at some of them. I was like, oh man, the situation is about to be wild. Yeah, it was just a very, very funny movie, very charming. And I really want to thank you guys for speaking with me and taking the time.
Thank you so
Course.
much for supporting our movie. Appreciate
Yeah.
you.
Thanks, Therese. Thank you so much.
Thanks.